Hey, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Vox and Jed Fight About It. The show where me and Jed fight about it all the time for sure, believe me. And especially the show where we had a guest last week. Hey, Jed.
Yeah, that
You want to talk about
it? Sure. Willem's great. Willem's a good person.
Willem was a great guest.
Willem's great. Twig was great.
Twig was a great guest too. Yeah, I don't want to discredit Twig. Twig was a good guest too. Woolen was a fantastic guest though. Like down to like
so much to talk about.
They had so much to talk about. Yeah, they had so much to talk about. They were so prepared, despite like scheduling. Oh, excuse me, scheduling errors. Oh, my drink's trying to come back up on me. And they like that moment that we had where I was just like, all right, we're 10 minutes over time. I think that's about time we wrap. And they were just like, what? We gotta go. And I was like, yeah, we gotta go. Yeah. It's about time.
Was this on the podcast?
No, this was on the podcast, and I was just like, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And they were like, oh, I thought 8 hours, you said. And I was just like, no.
8
2 hours. And they were just fully prepared. They said it themselves that they were just fully prepared to sit down, crack their knuckles, and sit for 8 hours and just hang out with us.
And they fucking would have, dude.
They would have. I know they would have.
They were drawing that whole time. They finished Basil's commission in that time. Like
in the time it took us to do the show, yeah. Busiest motherfucker alive.
Absurd. But Willen's great. We're glad we had Willen on. Willen, if you're watching this, hi.
Hi, Woolen. I don't know if you plan to keep up with this. I hope you're listening to this in class again. I hope we say the fuck word a whole lot over the next 2 hours. And
yeah, I would like you to
absolutely devastated by it.
I would like you to unplug your headphones, turn up the volume all the way, and then we're gonna fuck. There we go. We're good.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll work.
Second time. That'll work.
But no, yeah, we had Woolen on last week. We had a guest last week, and now we don't have a guest this week. And before that, we didn't have a guest. And then we had Twig, and then before that was our first episode. I'm liking this checkerboard of guests we've got going on here, where like we have a guest episode and a non-guest episode. I'm sure we're gonna break routine at some point with it. It's not like a thing I intend to last forever, but I like it. I really like it. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. The problem is when we're gonna run out of people, but I think that's gonna be a very, very long time. We're talking about it on Console Craft.
It would take us 16 episodes.
You have 16 people lined up?
Episodes. No. 16 episodes. Half of those are guest episodes. 8 people. You know why I say 8?
Oh.
8 is the amount of people who were in that room with us. I was talking about this on a previous episode. I'll rehash. There were 8 people in that room with us asking to be on our show.
Yeah.
Some of them might have been joking, but I'm certain they would all commit to it if we asked them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've got a wider circle. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna clarify and say that I've got a wider circle after that of just like folks from different corners of the internet beyond Willow that like, hey, I know you. You want to come on our show? You want to come have a talk on our show? Anyway, what about commitment? You think you're getting married? Is that where this is going?
Yeah. No, I'm getting married to a llama. Chilling with a llama. His name is Saul. He's fully conscious. Like, this is not a moral dilemma or anything. But in all seriousness, speaking of commitment, because we've talked about this every week, and because it's pretty much grown with the podcast at this point, since every week we talk about it, and the second week it started, and we're talking about Console Craft again because it's a tradition at this point.
Absolutely, we got to talk about where we're at with that.
Hell of a commitment. You got anything you want to say about the commitment of Console Craft before I go into my day?
I do. I'll go into my day first. Your day is worse.
Absolutely.
When it comes to like Console Craft commitment. So I'll go into my day today. Okay. So before I get into my complaining, I want to preface the reason why my day is so bad today and so packed in. Usually it wouldn't be quite this packed in, but we're recording this Thursday night. Friday morning, technically, because it's 33 minutes after the hour on midnight. We're recording this Friday morning because late, and I'm going to edit it Friday afternoon before we leave and get it set and scheduled and ready to go, because I'm going to be gone on Thursday. I'm gonna be out of here, or not Thursday, on Saturday when we would normally record these, and then we put them up on Sunday. I'm gonna be out of here because I am going back to Universal. I did a Universal trip. I think I talked about it on the podcast. If I didn't, I've talked about it plenty on stream and other places. But we're going back to Universal because we had a day left on our passes that we didn't get to use because we only had so many days at the resort, and there were only so many days allotted, so we had to work around that. And yeah. But now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to Universal, and we're gonna make it a day, and we're gonna spend the day over there. And that is the reason why I'm gonna be spending so much time, or I have spent so much time at my desk today, and I'm gonna be spending so much time at my desk tomorrow, just catching up on things. So I've been doing about 8-hour days, as I've mentioned before. But if I miss a day, things will go way out of whack. So I'm just prepping things so that as little is missed out on as possible. I've had to cut a stream on Friday, this previous Friday for you guys, when I physically cannot be at my desk to stream. And then, which still breaks my fucking heart, dude. I really want to do it. But it's not like a big stream or anything, but come on, I'm so far behind on my schedule. I'd like to like get a normal weekend for once without anything happening. But my point, I'm gonna miss that. Saturday's console craft video will have to be pushed back because I would literally have to be video editing every waking moment. Literally every waking moment. No meal breaks, no nothing, to be able to get that out in the time allotted without having to cut something else from my schedule. So I was like, that's fine. I'll get it out on Wednesday. That's what I'll do. I'll get it out on Wednesday, and that's when it'll come out. So, what have I been doing instead today to avoid other things going to shit? I recorded Console Craft. So I woke up today. Today's the 20th. That's a grocery day. So I had to go to the grocery store and come back. That was, I woke up at 1 p.m.-ish. Probably like 1:30 because I went back to bed for like 20 minutes. I got up at 1:30, got dressed, went to the grocery store, and got groceries and came back. That took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then once I got back, I sat at my desk and hopped on Console Craft immediately. And I did that for until 8 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, I got out and I started streaming Chained Together, which is the game we played this Thursday.
It's terrible.
Which is just awful.
It's just awful. We lost our minds.
An awful game, dude. It really ate at me. But we streamed that
more later, but
we streamed that until around 11:45 p.m. I'd say. So, like, with 15 minutes leeway of just, like, I need food time. I need time to stop and grab a meal, and then we can record the podcast. And then I took that 15 minutes-ish, got food, got the podcast, got ready for the podcast, really just decompressed. And now I'm here, and now I'm in the final leg of my day where I sit and I record this for 2 hours, and then I'm going to dramatically fall into my bed and just pass out. But no, yeah, that's how my day is going and will continue to go. But I've only been up, like, all that seems really hectic with no breaks, really, except for that 15-minute one. But it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. If you could believe, it gets worse. Because I've only been up for 12 hours. Jed's been up for 26. 27 now.
27 now, yeah.
Anyway, walk us through it. Walk us through it from the time you woke up to now.
Here we go. We're going to yesterday. Yesterday, sleep schedule fucked completely. Slept through 4 alarms, including a phone call. I answered the phone, had a full phone conversation, asleep. Completely asleep. And I didn't wake up to do my stream. And I felt awful about it. Felt terrible. Felt like an asshole. Thankfully, I didn't miss the appointment that I had with Ellie and everybody. And then we finished that, took like half an hour. I went back to sleep at like 5 p.m. my time. And then I woke up at 9 p.m. my time. And I was groggy as shit, got into the Discord, hung out with everybody. And then I was like, okay, Vox is doing stuff, Vox is busy, he's going to bed. I will go ahead and I'll take care of, because Ellie, during that meeting, asked us to build a little thing that traps Herobrine. It's a zero chamber where Herobrine can't like influence inside or out of it. And that was the whole thing. And I thought it was going to be the size of a shrine, which was big enough to fit the shrine. It was 5 by 5 by 8. Ellie gets online right as I finish up like building that and getting a couple other things sorted that I wanted to have sorted for the next stream day. Ellie gets online and was like, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the vault more." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I meet her and I show her the vault and she was like, "Oh, I thought we were going to fight inside of it." And I was like, "So this isn't big enough?" She's like, "No, I wanted to I thought I would kind of like enclose the whole sign with like a force field around it." And I was like, well, like the zero chamber doesn't really work as a force field. Like our characters, we don't do force fields. That's not it didn't make sense in my head. So I was like, okay. So you're telling me you want me to enclose the Minecraft sign. And this is 4 a.m. for me. And she was like, well, I mean, if you want to. And so I was like, okay. I'll text Bush. Got up from Bush. It took Bush, he wasn't awake yet. So I had to be up for another 2 hours waiting for Bush to wake up to give me up. And then Bush gave me up, and then he had to do some like server adjustments. And then it was like 9 a.m. and I was like, okay, I could finally actually build this vault. Took me 3 hours. It was 12:30 by the time I finished building the vault. And then Vox gets home. And I was going to try to catch like an hour-long nap between then because I knew I wasn't going to be able to catch any sleep. And I wasn't able to because Vox got home in time, and it was like, okay, we're close enough to streaming that I'll just be awake. I don't know. I'll be worse off if I go to bed now. So then I do my console craft stream. I do 3 hours of console craft. End up getting to the point where it's like, well, I'm streaming Chained Together with Vox, and right now I've got a 15-minute break. I could either end my stream for 15 minutes or stay on a BRB for 15 minutes. So I stayed on a BRB for 15 minutes. And I had a stream that in total ran to 6 hours and 20 minutes. And then we took a decompress moment, and now we're here. And now I'm at 27 hours of sleep. And I am
27 hours awake, not 27 hours of
27
sleep.
hours. Right, 27 hours awake. I'm sorry.
So this should inform you about the mental states and the place we're at. Really, and because like I have a feeling we can make a decent show out of this. We can make an alright podcast episode. It'll be fine. But
yeah,
if any weirdness were to happen, if we sound a little groggy, if we sound a little fucked up, that's why. That's what happened. You know what's happening to me right now? My ears are ringing. Both of my ears started ringing in unison the second you started telling that story, and they haven't stopped.
They fucking they don't like.
It has been like 2 to 3 minutes now. They haven't stopped. It's not slowing. But I'm yelling over it. Let's go.
You're yelling over it. Yeah.
But no, yeah, console craft has been a real commitment. It's been a real time sink for us, which is why I'm glad it's ending on time in like a week.
It's been a much more time sink for Vox most of the time. Vox spends a lot more time since he has to edit than I do. The only reason that console craft is like mildly inconvenient for me is because it plants my console craft streams are like dead in the middle of the day. It plants itself dead in the middle of the day. And do you know how fucking impossible it is to get a doctor's appointment scheduled when you are like, yeah, sorry, but I can't do between 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So. And it's like, that's 70% of the time we're open. How the fuck am I supposed to get you in? Like, that's the only mild inconvenience I've had. Today is the first day that I've actually had, like, genuine, just like, I'm exhausted. And it is because of console craft.
Yeah, no, I hit that. I dream of the Adobe Premiere timeline some nights. I genuinely, like, I'm thinking of edit ideas in my sleep. Every time I stop to eat a meal, I'm thinking about, like, oh, I could move that clip. I could probably move that clip a little bit and then make the timing a little bit better. Maybe a crossfade there would work better than a dip to white or a dip to black. And I'm having these kinds of thoughts constantly. And that's just the plague of a video editor. That happens, but it's genuinely getting to the point where, like, whether I'm editing or not, if I'm not editing, I feel like I should be editing. If I'm not editing or recording or streaming. One of those three things has to be happening, or I feel like I am not utilizing my time correctly. So I need to be editing. Which would be fine back when I was doing that for like one video a month, but when I'm doing it for the feeling is expedited and much worse when new footage is coming in literally 3 times a week for like 2 hours of footage 3 times a week. So I've just like every passing session adds at least 3 more hours to of work, and so it's just like it's starting to affect how I play. Oh, excuse me, it's starting to affect how I play the game. And it's really like not a problem. It's not a problem. I'm not complaining. Being in console craft is a hell of an opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm having a great time with some great people. But man, am I glad it's only a month long. And that's the sentiment I've had for a while now. That's the sentiment I'm especially having today with how long today has been. But that's today. That's today.
Vox's experience with console craft is kind of like that, like Chinese water torture trap, torture trap, whatever. Where it just like drips.
I just said I'm having fun.
I know, but like I'm using it as a metaphor where it's like it's that trap where they drip water onto your forehead, and it's literally just a drop of water every second, and it makes you go fucking insane because it's just so much of it and it's nonstop. For me, I got like waterboarded today, but it's cool. I'll be cool tomorrow, but like Vox is still going through it.
Yeah, I'll need a while before I'm over it. You know, and Sebastian Bush is gonna get the worst of me for it, that bastard. I'm pointing all of my resentment at him.
I want to talk about this because I find it funny. Everybody's so mean to Bush in a lighthearted way. Like everybody knows it's a lighthearted way. Everybody loves Bush. But like I try to be as nice as I can to Bush because I know that can get to you. And he's a young guy and he's got a lot on his plate. So I wanna try to do as best as I can by him. And the unfortunate side effect of that is that I will try to reach out to Bush and he will respond with hostility because he's thinking I'm going to come at him with hostility. So like today, while he was fixing the server stuff, I like joined the VC and I was like, "Hey, Bush," and he was like, "I'm fixing it. It'll be done soon. Just like it'll be done soon. I'm working on it." And I was like, "I'm just here to say hi. I'm just here to hang out in the VC. Are you doing all right?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." I was like, "Oh man, Bush, take a breather."
It's like a trauma response. I'm just like, "Hey, Bush, how you doing? I'll fix it later. I promise. It's almost done." And it's like, "Okay, all right, that's great. Not what I'm here for, though."
Dude, I'm here to hang out. I'm
just here to hang out with you. I wanted to come say hi and be a friend. I'm not here to harass you that you're behind time.
It happened again that same day. Where I was like, yeah, and I was like, hey, but yeah. I was like, how's things been for you, Bush? And he's like, I'm still fixing the end. And I was like, I meant just in real life. How are you hanging in, like in your day to day? And he's like, oh, I'm fine. I was like, man, dude, you need to take a break.
You need to take a break. I think VidCon will be good for him. I think stepping away
VidCon will be good for him.
With console craft in safe hands and Willow not happening, basically, I think that Bush will really, really appreciate his time away. I think he'll have a nice time at VidCon. In the same way that I'm gonna really, really appreciate my Saturday away at Universal with friends where I don't have to put a video out. A man in a costume isn't going to show up and ask me why I didn't stream on Friday. It's going to be great.
What? There's a man in a costume that shows up and asks you why you didn't stream?
No, but I'm implying that like one of the like cast members at Universal is going to rock up and go like, "You should be streaming, you fuck."
I thought
it's like Optimus Prime, please, I'm trying.
I thought every time you fucking missed a stream, like some like furry shows up at your door and is like, "Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Come on." It's like,
burn your house down.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But
yeah. No. But it's just like, I'll be away. I get a break. Bush gets a week-long break, which he deserves way more than I deserve this day. This like day and night. What to myself.
What?
But like, I'm gonna take that time and it's gonna be great. And then on Sunday, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be back in full force,
it's Monday, baby. That's a console craft day.
That's a console craft day. Right back to adding 6 more hours of work to my workload. That number gets larger every time I estimate it.
10 hours a week.
Well, not 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week of record. I mean, like the day Monday, the 2 hours of footage will take me. I'm implying that like that'll take me 6 hours to edit that 2 hours. I probably will actually. Jesus. But like, yeah, you're not understanding, Jed. Like, not only is when I record for 2 hours, it's not just I record for 2 hours and then I'll probably have to edit it for 2 hours. No, I have to watch the footage back as I edit. So like the time of the footage plus the time it takes to make all the edits to the footage. That's usually the rule of thumb, an hour for every 2 hours of footage on top of those 2 hours. So 3 hours for every 2 hours of footage. You know,
Hmm.
total,
You
like
know,
all together. So like I'm making like 2 hours of progress on the edit, then stopping and then recording and adding 3 more hours of work onto my workload later.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
You know
enough
how you
about
can
work.
fix this?
How can I
You know
fix
how you
this?
could fix this? You
How
could
can I
start
fix this?
using AI
Please.
generated images and things like that to make it an expedited process, Fox. Make your content worse.
I would rather die.
We were so I wanted
I
to
would
bring this up
simply
because
rather die than use AI to make my videos for me.
we were
Anyway,
playing the god awful, albeit kind of fun, um, game
I had a good time, but
Chained
I would have
Together
had just
today.
as good of a time playing any other game. Just about.
Yeah, we played Chained Together, and that game is the most garbage, like Unity asset flip, AI generated for everything that they couldn't get from Unity game. Albeit, like
Yeah.
I had a fun time because Vox and I went like fucking insane because both of us were like terribly stressed, and we
I
got to
like
the
when we
point where
get
we were singing
delusional.
like, yeah, we were singing like the DK rap, and like I think we were talking about like terrorism, and I think you were talking about terrorism to the rhythm of the DK rap by accident.
No, it
Just
was
because that
great. It
was
was
like
great.
two things. It was great.
We did a whole
It was a
thing.
great time for us. But the game is garbage. It's just a Unity asset flip, and like anything that they couldn't just get from the Unity store for like 50 cents, they just AI generated. And
Yeah.
it's fucking wild.
And to be fair, it's $4. It's
To be fair, it's
$4.
$4.
But $4 can get you a much better game on Steam, believe me. I
$4 can
can't
get
think of
you a much
anything.
better
I
thing.
think wasn't Undertale $5 at some point?
I think
Like
so.
just base price $5. I don't think it is
I think
anymore.
so. Lethal
But
Company was $5, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's
no,
when
Lethal Company was $7.99. Lethal Company was
$7.99.
$7.99.
Well, yeah,
So it was
but
like
still.
$7. But
Put in
for
an
like,
extra fucking $2.
dude, the amount of shit on Steam that you can get that's good for $5 is great. This specific one wouldn't bother. It's such like
Yeah.
a bullshit streamer bait game. It's awful.
And like to be fair, I had a fun time because it was one of those like getting over it but co-op. But there are so many other games. Play Human Fall Flat. Human Fall Flat
Yeah.
is good. Human Fall Flat has charm. It looks nice. It runs nice. Um, you might be singing the DK rap while rolling on a log. You might not. But either way, that I just wanted to talk about those like asset flip and just AI generated
Just want to
garbage.
talk about
What was
like
it?
AI generation and
What
asset
was
flipping.
what was that other game that got really popular? It was a like a grocery store simulator, and had like
Oh
an AI
yeah.
generated thing.
And it
It
was
got
just like
really
it had
really
very
popular.
clear like AI imagery in it for some reason, and it's just like, dude, why
Yeah,
is
and
this
it was
so
like Unity
popular?
asset flip.
Like people I knew who were like staunchly anti AI were playing it, and it's like, dog, did you not look at the cover of the game you bought?
Yeah,
I don't
I felt
know.
so bad
You felt so bad.
because I saw it on I saw fucking Chained Together on the front page of Steam last night because it came out literally yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago. It came out on Wednesday. Um, it came out on Wednesday, and I was like, this looks like garbage, and it is $4. And Wivey can't make it to Zomboid on Thursday. Let's play this. And I did not boot the game and see if it had AI generated because it didn't even cross my mind. Dude, it doesn't cross my mind to be like, is this game
Didn't
AI
even think to
generated?
check. Yeah.
Because why the fuck would it be? Why would you put your heart into content to make a content of any kind, video,
Make a content.
make a I don't know how else to say it. Like make
Money, Jed. They made $10 off of
they
us
did
almost.
they made $10, but I don't know. I guess I see it more as an art. And I just
Yeah.
I feel like you can do a lot. Like even if you're like dog shit, I can't fucking draw for shit. Like you can do
You can
something,
make
man.
something. Yeah, you can make
Um,
something, you know? But speaking of video games,
mhm.
video games that are actually good. I want to talk about FNAF Real Time real quick again for the third episode
Okay.
in a row. Because I bring updates. I bring updates.
You do? I don't know about these.
I bring updates about the FNAF real time thing. So since last time I did join their Discord server. I hopped in and I was just like, I was just looking around and I saw an announcement message that was like, "Hey, if we get to 1,000 Discord members, we're at 500 right now. If we get to 1,000, we'll hop in a call the developers and we'll like stream playing the game for a little bit. Just like the regular gameplay of the game. We'll stream it." And I was just like, "Oh, that sounds sick. I can't wait." And so I kept an eye on the member count. They hit 1,000 members and then posted a new post that was like, "Wow, we hit 1,000 members. What a milestone. What should we do to celebrate? Maybe we'll post a teaser." And it's like, making more promises we can't commit to, are we? But I was just like, that's fine. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they like completely forgot about that, even though it's like the last post in the announcements channel. Fuck it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You know, indie team, they probably just got busy and realized that wasn't like, or maybe they don't want to stream their like very like their game where like the twists and turns of the story are kind of the point, you know, before it's even out, and then like show off like the first chapter of the plot basically for like free on Discord. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But they have started doing devlogs. They have started doing devlogs.
Okay. Well, that's good. Devlogs are always good.
That wasn't the 1,000 member thing. They started doing that as like part of their like initial posting from a couple weeks ago about just like, we promise we'll do better. We're gonna do better. We're gonna work harder to make sure the game comes out, and we're gonna work harder to keep you updated on how the game is doing, so it doesn't seem like we're just wasting time, you know? And so it seems like, you know, we're getting those. The devlogs aren't very eventful, obviously, because devlogs hardly ever are, unless they're like a week-to-week devlogs is what these are. So it's just like, here's this week's devlog. Today we worked on graphic. Here's this week's devlog. We today worked on graphics layering and how the characters layer in the scene. Here's what the scene looks like in 3D for visual imagery. It's like a 2D image, like assembled of sprites. So like seeing the layer differences is fun. And it was a cool thing to look at. But they're just full of shit like that, where it's just like, here's a fun like non-spoiler. Here's a fun non-spoiler. We're done being mean to the real-time studio. I like these people. I like the product they're making, at least, you know. And I want to play it, and I don't want to be.
That should be our thing.
We should start what?
Beef with them. Do you think that there's
ever
been a podcast
beef with the real-time studio?
I don't want a game studio. I think Game Studio V podcast is a brand new beef. We could get in on this, dude.
It's a brand new dynamic, but you know why that doesn't exist? Aren't you the guys who shit on indie companies?
Yeah,
that's us. You know, that's why that doesn't exist, Jed. That's the point of that. That's why that doesn't exist. But no, yeah, they've started doing devlogs.
Needs to be the bad guy.
And they're not very eventful, obviously, but they are very interesting to look at. Of just like, yeah, here's the things that we managed to accomplish this week. This is what today was focused on. You know, this is what this week was focused on fixing and making sure works. Like I think the other one that isn't like based on like sprite layering, I'm pretty sure that one was about sprite layering. It might have been about something else. But there was another one. The other one at the time, the only other one was just like, yeah, they only started doing these a couple weeks ago. They were like, yeah, here's this week we don't really have anything much to show you. We just have sort of like bug fixes to report of just like, we've been really working on like feedback from our other developers and the very, very small pool of testers we have. But we're going to be looking for more testers and broadening our testing pool soon. And it's like, oh, as much as I want to do that, as much as I want to get my hands on it early, I want to play it blind on stream. So I don't want to get it and then, you know, spoil it for myself by playing a beta build of it when I could just play the final build, you know, once it releases in whenever that is. But speaking of the release of the game, they've started doing teasers. If you pull up their Twitter, you'll be able to see them. And I'm not going to pull them up here, but they've started doing teasers that are like, I've labeled them in my head the Born In teasers, where they have like an image attached, and they just say, the first one is Born In 1 -- and the next one is Born In 19 -- you know, so we're getting a number
like
a day.
Sister location teasers.
Did they do that for the
Whereas,
sister
like,
location teasers? I stopped
Well, the
closely
sister
watching the Scott
location-
Cawthon ones that far in.
the sister location teasers, it had like the like blank
Sister location
spaces for
teether.
sister teether. Yeah, no, blah, blah, blah. But sorry, that's the noise that I make when I teeth. I still
Sorry,
do it.
you-
I shed my teeth once a month.
I think something's wrong with my baby. He's supposed to be teething, but he hasn't touched his withered baby animatronic teething toy. What a fucked up thing to imagine. Anyway,
3
You were
equally
saying.
spaced shocks. But
ugh.
I was saying the sister location teaser was just like a bunch of blanks, and then it slowly like rotated an S, and then it rotated like a L for the location, and then it kept going until I think somebody inspect elemented the fucking page and was like, oh, it says
shit, it
sister
says-
location.
It's just location.
Location. Holy shit, dude.
SLO.
Location.
Slocation. Yeah. No, but they've started doing these teasers, and I don't know what they're building to with them. I don't know what the big teaser at the end. They released, I believe they did the latest one today and the other one yesterday. So tomorrow we should get another one. I'm betting they're going for 1987. Like they're just like,
Probably.
because the whole point of FNAF Real
Maybe
Time's
83.
altered story is just like an alternate take on the FNAF timeline, starting from FNAF 1. I say starting,
Okay.
I don't know if they plan on doing Real Time 2. But, like starting from the first game and the bits and pieces that we get in the first game, building like an alt-universe story around that. Which I think is a really cool concept. As I've gathered, that's what I think it is.
I think that Pop Goes is really cool. This is
Yeah.
very old. It's a very old thing. First of all,
No, I'm aware.
best
of what it
name
is.
in the fan game scene, Pop Goes the Weasel, is so fucking good. I think it's so funny. And they
I
do
think
that
it's
for
kinda
every
silly, yeah.
fucking character. It's great. I love it. It's so campy. But like I think it is interesting where it's like there's they released some like teaser games that were like an arcade game for games that never came out because it's a fucking FNAF game. But like in those teaser games they would have like, hey, what color is Fredbear's hat? And because it only started from the lore that was in 3 and then it moved on from there, it said like the answer was maroon, not purple, because
Yeah.
at the time his hat was maroon in that game. And it's interesting
Yeah.
to be like, fuck you, I'm gonna start it from here. I want to start it from here. And I think I really like people like
I like what
making
you did with the
Gotham
story up to this point.
makes sense.
I'm pushing away and doing it. Yeah, I like to imagine what Scott Cawthon might have done if the FNAF story had to begin and end with the first game's location. I also like imagining, what if Scott Cawthon could stop and go back in time and write it all again today and make all the games fit? How would he do that retroactively? How would he keep, like,
Get rid of the
without
box.
thinking, well, obviously that, because he's like actually said that, but like what other changes would happen in the Five Nights at Freddy's story in retrospect of like, you know, if Scott Cawthon knew exactly how many games he was going to make and exactly where he would want to go with the story in the future and be able to like alter those games to make it all make more sense and be pointing in the same direction, you know? I wonder often how that would be. And obviously the people making these fan games have big ambitions and a lot of them don't come out. But not that I'm saying FNAF Real Time won't. I'm still just upset that FNAF Plus never came to be. I heard the FNAF Plus developer was kind of an asshole, though. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
I can't remember what he did. I can't remember what he did specifically.
I think he was in that like ring of people who like got a bunch of information on other FNAF developers, like personal addresses and shit, and kept it as blackmail, even though they considered them friends at the time. It was like a real sketch thing. I don't know if he was involved.
That's very
in
odd.
that.
It depends on the only thing that I know for a fact Fiznom did, or I say know for a fact, the only thing I'm like pretty sure Fiznom did that I'm aware of is Fiznom. I think it was Markiplier played Joy of Creation or some other like newer FNAF fan game, like something that's still. No, it was a FNAF 1 remake fan game, and he played a little bit of it. Or it was one that was like based on FNAF 1, maybe? I don't remember. Either way, he played a little bit of it on a video, and then Fiznom, the FNAF Plus developer, was like, why weren't you playing FNAF Plus? You should have been playing FNAF Plus. It's like, dude, A, your game isn't out yet. B, he is allowed to play other FNAF games. He's not, no one owes you anything. We're not forced to play your FNAF fan game, dog. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Vietnam apparently I wanted to look it up because I was curious. He's apparently also like encouraged like death threats. Like that's like
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
very
good. That
confused.
guy is an asshole. I was very afraid.
The
I
other
was like,
people
because I
deserve
knew
death
that was
threats, and I
true.
don't. Every real Fiznom fan knows that I'm the only one who should be getting death threats, and it's like a bit, but also it's like I don't know, man. It's a death
Oh, it's
threats.
like a bit? I don't know. I'm
I
very
don't know,
confused.
man.
None of that last bit is true. I just struggle to call indie developers assholes without any proper proof.
Yeah.
Especially in a public forum. But speaking of developers who aren't assholes, the new Minecraft update's out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm liking it. I've been playing it on stream a lot. I've been playing the hell out of it on stream. I've done like 3 or 4
Mhm.
streams since the episode came out last like Thursday. Um, I've done about like 3 or 4 streams in the past week of it, just because I genuinely am having so much fun, and I'm talking to chat, and I'm building little houses, and I'm exploring the new update, and it makes such a nice break because we talked about how console craft is a lot of work and a lot of lore, and just a lot in general. We love it to death. It's a lot. But like we get saved, quote unquote, from that, or I do, by playing some regular Joe Schmo Minecraft just by myself. No plot, no nothing. I'm just sitting down on stream and playing the video game, almost completely vanilla, aside from like 2 or 3 resource packs. Like that, and like I think I have sodium installed on that profile as well. But that is it.
Yeah.
Literally just a game that makes the performance a mod that makes the performance slightly better with like almost no visual difference, and then I've got my vanilla tweaks pack and my usual vanilla tweaks pack that basically like the only noticeable things it makes certain flat 2D objects have a little bit of depth to them, and it makes you make the old Minecraft hurt noise, which I think is funny and I like. And colorful containers, the one that gives like every container you open a custom pixel art UI that kind of looks like that container, and I like that mod a lot too. It definitely helps me keep mental track of where I'm at in the video game and what I'm doing, you know? When there's like more visual differentiation between UIs, so when I'm flipping from like a chest to a furnace to a crafting table, I'm very aware of which I'm in at any given time. You know, not that that's not apparent in the base game, but it's a nice resource pack. But I've been playing the hell out of the new update. Haven't even experienced the trial chamber. And genuinely, I'm just having fun building with the new blocks, playing around. I'm messing around with some stuff from the last update, like mangrove trees that I never really I never really played the last update all that much to actually experience the content of the update. So I'm sort of just like embracing the last like 2 updates worth of features and going, yeah, I'm having fun. You know, I'm having a good time. And I don't know if you've actually sat down and played the new update yet, but
I have not.
I'm really enjoying it, and I want to get our personal like server on the right version. I just don't think either of us can play on it right now because again, console craft.
No, so much console craft. Yeah, well, you've been doing that on stream. I've been like the funny thing is that so a lot of my characters eco in console craft. We're going back to console craft now.
We're going back to console craft talk. That's fine. We can loop back around for a minute.
I just wanted to say this because I think it's funny. My character got like an ego thing in character, and that stemmed partially from a genuine miscommunication in my brain. Because Vox does a lot of editing and he does a lot of other things. I do a lot of behind the scenes work just to get get some stuff knocked out so it's ready for next stream. And I don't mind doing it. I like doing it. But in character, quite a few times I've done like, oh yeah, I built this or I did this, and I ended up leaning into it more with time machines and things. But like those little things that ended up getting my character to lean into like an egotistical way when it was genuinely just that like I pretty much every time that Vox is doing something, I'll be like, yeah, do I have anything that I need to do on the Minecraft server? Yes, no, yes, okay, get on it, get it done, you know. So oftentimes when you're playing Minecraft, I'm also playing console craft. But
yeah, and I like Minecraft. There's enough Minecraft that I could genuinely like. Console craft feels different enough from vanilla, which feels different enough to Willow, that I can play them all back to back to back and not feel like, oh man, that's too much goddamn Minecraft today. But Minecraft is also a game where I could play it for like 8 to 12 hours a day, like streaming aside, and not get sick of it. Genuinely. Like I could wake
Yeah.
up if I made enough money to fulfill most of my wants and all of my needs, doing like by like some weird means, if I like won the lottery or something tomorrow and was able to invest it and was like able to like, yeah, Mr. Ratman, we put all your money into safe stocks and things like that, and you'll get like I don't know, what's something ridiculous, 100K a month, like 100K a month, just to fucking keep yourself alive and pay your bills, and you'll get 100K a month. I genuinely, if it weren't for financial need, and it weren't for want to stream, like, because I genuinely, I want to stream, I want to make content. It's one of my great loves. Like, if I had no ambition to make content, and I had all the money in the world, that's genuinely probably what I'd be doing with my day 9 days out of 10. Is just sitting down and playing Minecraft, baby.
Yeah. I like Minecraft. I like Minecraft a lot.
Yeah.
I like Minecraft. I like farming in Minecraft because I like farming. I like farming so much that I play Farming Simulator. I play the farming game, and I think it's
boy,
funny.
we're talking about your farming sim problem now.
I think about it sometimes where it's like, when you say Farming Simulator, some people think, oh, Stardew Valley. Fuck it, I guess.
Those aren't
like,
farming simulators.
Those are farming
games.
Yeah, but either way, like, it's
I would
close.
call them the like very vague cozy game category. Anyway.
Yeah, cozy game though is like anything that is like child friendly. I don't know. Cozy game is such a vague category.
I wouldn't consider like a child friendly RPG, like not like, like a turn based. I wouldn't consider Pokemon a cozy game necessarily, because it's very kid friendly, damn near kid centric, and it's like, I don't know, it doesn't fall into that cozy game category. It's, farming games are different than farming sims, I think. Anyway, go for it.
I do think it's funny though, because like, if you were to walk into like meet two people and they're both like, yep, I like farming games, you'd have one that's like, yep, I like Stardew Valley, I like having the time, and I like walking around and doing the thing, and it's like, I like getting the combine harvester and making sure that I maximize my profit margins. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you? Why did I get that side?
One of these people is grinning ear to ear, laying in bed on their Nintendo Switch, like meeting all the townspeople and picking up cool bugs and planting new rows of carrots in, because that's what's in season right now, and they're cute and they got a little thing, and then feeding their little cross-eyed pig livestock. And the other is looking at the profit margins of his farm at the dinner table with his wife and wondering, how can I make this more efficient to keep my family fed and alive? And then going out and fucking like getting new equipment from the fucking from the local like Tractor Supply, and then heading out with their new like 10 million pound beef machine that fucking, like, all it does is pick the cow up, fucking kill it and meat grind it, and then while it's doing that, it'll harvest all your grain for you to feed the next cow down the line.
Dude, that would actually be really good. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Awesome. I'll ship that over. I'll run straight to the patent office tomorrow.
You should talk about, so Vox, I have a very twisty history.
I do want to talk about this. That is what I want to talk about when we're on Farming Sim. So I saw Jed boot up Farming Sim the other day. I was doing a stream where I was just ending. It was midnight. It was about wrap time, and I was like, okay, I've had a really good stream today. Jed's booting Farming Sim. And my chat was like, oh, what's the big deal? What's up with Jed and Farming Sim? Why does that matter? And I was just like, well, here's why that matters, chat. The last time I saw Jed boot Farming Sim, he was in like one of the deeper depressive episodes I've seen him get into. One of the more deep, more prolonged depressive episodes I've ever seen him get into. And he played it from the day he was in that episode all the way through like the month that he was in it, and then stopped it immediately once he stopped playing Farming Sim and got better in 24 hours. But like, and that's just how I saw it. And then that happened again, like a year or two later, and now it's probably happening again. I don't know what put Jed in such a funk so fast, but I gotta go check on him. And I join the VC and I go, "Hey Jed," and you go, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, I saw you're in Farming Sim. How you doing?" And you go, "I'm fine," as though like 3 people had asked you already. And you were just like, "I'm
I had just
fine.
explained it to Twig.
I'm doing okay. It's all right. I'm not upset. I just want to play Farming Sim." And then I came to find out that the new Farming Sim, like the one from this year or maybe last year, was free. That was the 2022 one, so not even the past couple of years. Wow.
It's not even the past. Well, it's the newest
one. He moved up from Farming Sim 19 to Farming Sim 22 because it was free on the Epic Games store. And that's why he was playing it. Not because another depressive episode hit. His depressive episode routine was broken by new Farming Sim coming out and being free to him.
But Vox, when he was explaining this to Twig, because this is a new story.
Twig was
to
in my chat at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was in VC. It was in VC, because then you were like, yeah, because last time Jed was in this episode, you would join the VC, and would you like to explain what it was like? Because I can't do it justice.
Well, because okay, so the very specifics, you're trying to guide me down to like giving specific anecdotes you like again. But like, I was just like, fine, I'll dance. You want the monkey to dance? I'll fucking dance. Anyway, I joined the VC and I'm just like, dude, it's impossible because last time you got like this, because you denied it is what happened. And so I was like, I was doubling down on you, and I told you it's just like last time where you were like, yeah, my life is going to shit. I have nothing going for me. I think all of my friendships might just be completely disingenuous and not worthwhile. I feel like everything in my life is actively falling apart around me, and I don't know how to fix it. New grain silo. Yeah, sure, I'll get that one. You know, like it was just like mixed in there. It was just little bits mixed in there of just like Jed would so seamlessly go from like venting about how awful his day, nay, his month has been, and how it's made him reflect on like his life choices up to that point, and then it's like smoothly transition into just like, this grain silo can hold 250,000 pounds of grain, and this one can hold 260,000. I'm not sure that the price difference is really worth the extra 10K, you know? And it's just like, dude, I cannot take you seriously. And this is a very silly thing, but it also just linked the two in my head with you, where it's just like, anytime I see you playing Farming Sim now, I assume that you're having a real rough go of it.
Funniest part, I was like, a lot of people who get into Farming Sim is like, yeah, I got into Farming Sim because my family is a farmer and yada, 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 things like that. I got into it because Markiplier played it as a one-off thing during COVID, because he would play fucking anything during COVID. And he played it as a one-off thing, and I was like, that looks silly. It's free on it. It's free on Xbox right now. I'll play it. And I played it, and I was like, this is fun. This is a good way to like spend time. And then that was the end of it. And then I figured out how to play the game. And the thing about Farming Sim is it doesn't tell you anything. It's one of those games where it literally is just like, yep, here's the money. Figure it the fuck out, dude. Like you have to sort that shit out. But once you have it sorted, it's like it makes sense. Don't ask me how to do anything with like cotton or corn or anything. That shit's out of my league. I go with grains. Grains are good.
That's fair. But the thing about Farming Sim I wanted to talk about, the thing beyond Farming Sim that I wanted to talk about was just that like you picked it up, like it doesn't tell you how to play when you first pick it up. I hate games like that. There's this audio of like Kevin Hart recently on like one of Kai Cenat's streams where like I don't remember the context. I don't know the context. I've just been seeing it like in clips under different captions. But I feel like this so often with media where like, because what he says is, motherfucker, take a minute and set the shit up so I know what I'm doing. Don't just start saying shit like I've been here, you know? I'm new. Yeah. You gotta tell me, you gotta set me up so I know what I'm doing, you know? And it's like, that gets me to give up on media, like games and stuff so fast of just like, I'm so glad I picked up Minecraft when I did. I wouldn't have bothered to learn it if it was the same game that, like, without any of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
additions, if it was still as much of like a you gotta have the wiki open game as it used to be, I would not pick it up if it came out today. I would not
Yeah.
pick it up and start playing it. Okay, so you know that thing. I had a Spanish teacher who would talk about it constantly. So learning a language is very difficult once you get into your teenage and adult years. Even before your brain is fully done developing, like even into your teenage years, it becomes exponentially more difficult to pick up a new language, which is why they want you to learn languages early as possible. And the earliest they can fit it in the curriculum reasonably is in high school, typically. But the reason they want you to learn it sooner is because your brain is like a sponge, but it starts to like lose its absorption ability exponentially as you age. It bottoms out at like 25 or 26 when your brain is fully done. Like it bottoms out to just like you're a functional adult now. You know, you're not going to have to be in a situation where you need to pick shit up instantly anymore. Go with God, you know?
Yeah.
But like
Godspeed.
I used those formative years not to learn a language when I was a wee baby with a sponge brain, but to learn how to play Minecraft. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. And so
Yeah.
that's where we're at. I don't think I would pick it up today, genuinely. And that sucks cuz like every time I get into a piece of media lately that does that to me, I think about it and I go, "Well, I like some pretty unapproachable media." Like I'm certain I would enjoy Terraria if I didn't have to learn it now.
No, Terraria is so unapproachable.
But it's like Terraria is so ungodly unapproachable. And I'm going to upset some Terraria fans here, but
I
like
love
at least
Terraria, but it's
Minecraft at least Minecraft has made steps with like things like the recipe book to be more approachable. Terraria has embraced its like gatekeepy, like Redditor, get the Terraria wiki open mindset so hard as a game that like as somebody who's new to the game, I've done a full playthrough of the game with like a bunch of friends, Jed included, once on stream. Those streams exist. They're from a few years ago. They're on my VOD channel. I've experienced the beginning to the end of this video game. Granted, I did it most of it by fishing.
Fishing.
But like I was able to watch this game and a set of brand new like player characters. Like obviously all of you were experienced in person, but like in game, like a bunch of like just spawned in to beating the biggest baddest boss in the game over the course of like 6 weeks of like 4-hour sessions.
Yeah.
And I still don't know a goddamn thing about where to begin in Terraria or how you would even start. You know, you talk to the
Like,
guide, I guess. You cut down some trees. Maybe the word elevator comes to mind. Beyond that, I don't know a fucking thing.
Because like that's the thing with Terraria is it's like a grandfathered in thing. Like I learned Terraria from a friend when I was very young. I don't know where he learned Terraria, probably from a friend before I learned how to play it from him. And then it just continues back and it's like, who the fuck figured it out the first time? Who the fuck is the knower of all of Terraria, dude?
I would have picked up Terraria. Terraria was actually on my list of games when I was a wee lad of just like I should get around to that. It's been on my backlog list of like games that I'm mildly interested in since I was like 10 or 12 whenever the game came out. It came out in like 2012, didn't it? So like 11. Yeah, about that time. But like at the time I was like, nope, I already found my sandbox game of choice. I'm gonna be playing Minecraft till the day I die. You know, in fact, Terraria was the first ever game I bought on Steam. I got my grandma to make me a Steam account so that I could buy Terraria when I was like 8 and play it. But I didn't ever play it. I never booted it. I lost the password to that Steam account, and I eventually got it back. That's the Steam account I have now, by the way. Is that original Terraria owning Steam account. But I don't have that account anymore. Like, the account I had in the intervening, like, year, where I bought, like, 2 whole games, maybe. And then I realized, oh, my Terraria account is still here. Like, my Terraria-based Steam account is still here. I'll play on that one. You know? And I pirated a lot of my games at the time anyways, why I never bought anything. I only bought if I needed to play online multiplayer. If it was a single-player game, I was pirating it every time, indie or otherwise. I was a wee lad with no money on the internet, and the statute of limitations is up on that, so take that, suckers. Do something about it, U.S. government. You can't. Not that they act on piracy anyway, dude. Like, that's such, like, a fake thing. Like, your ISP will tell you to stop, That's as far as it'll go. That's genuinely
as
as
it'll go.
far up the ladder as that kind of thing goes. Like, they might shut your service down for it and you have to get a new ISP. But, like, even then, once you get the letter to stop, you start using a VPN to keep your ISP from tracking the fact that you're doing that. You know? Because if you're using a VPN, that's not a lot of protection, but that's enough protection that, like, the company won't care enough to track you all the way down.
You had brought up Terraria, and I started, like, my brain started, like, brain blasting. I've hit the point of being so tired that my brain is, like, picking things that it didn't know that it had. And I had a moment where I remembered there was, like, a Last Life series that Normal Boots did, like in, like, 2012. It was like Minecraft ultra hardcore, where it's like you don't come back, and they had like graves for people, and
Yeah, ultra hardcore's been a thing for a very long time.
I know. I had like a brain blast of like Peanut Butter Gamer playing fucking Minecraft hardcore and being
Jesus
a wee
Christ.
lad and sitting with my laptop in bed and watching it. Dude, that's wild. I'm sorry.
You motherfucker, you're so behind me. You're so behind me. It's like seeing I like seeing the folks who grew up on like Peanut Butter Gamer and like that end of the Normal Boots crew, the end that would play Minecraft. I was on the end that have all since been called out for doing awful, terrible things, and I don't stand behind them for that. But I think the divide there is I've been on the internet since I was 5 years old.
Too long.
Since I was 5 years old. Me and my friends in elementary school used to watch Newgrounds animations. We used to tune in for Laser Collection. Astif Movie. I remember the day Astif Movie 5 came out. I remember the day. In fact, I'm pretty sure I remember Astif Movie 4 coming out. Like, there were 3 of those when I got into that. I remember Laser Collection. I remember Stick Figures on Crack. I remember things you wouldn't imagine. Dude, it's ridiculous. Some of the things. Like, we were watching stick fights. That's what we used to do. And I brought up stick fights last podcast, too. And since then, I've been thinking about stick fights more and more and how cool and, like, over-the-top cool they are. I remember before Google owned YouTube. I was using YouTube before Google owned it. And they bought it in, like, 2007.
Bucks, you sound like a grandpa going belligerent, dog.
They snapped that shit up quick. I'm telling you, I remember Bob and his tank to take down Google Plus. I remember so many things. Right. Don't wheel me over by the window. When are my grandchildren coming to visit?
It's okay, Grandpa. It's okay. It's okay.
But no, my point is, I think that's...
He's technically still a thing. You're okay.
I think that's the dividing line. I think that's the dividing line for us, is just... I was around just that touch longer enough.
Yeah, you're on the internet way earlier
my transition to that thing, my transition to like content creators at the time, because like of course I remember Normal Boots. They weren't my go-to though. They absolutely weren't my go-to.
I like Peanut Butter Gamer a lot.
I don't mind Peanut Butter Gamer. He's an alright guy, and all the content I've seen from him is fine.
Yeah, has he done anything?
I don't think so. I think the joke about him is that he's like the Scott the Woz or the like James Rolfe of the Normal Boots crew, where it's like he's like the only guy who's never had an actual controversy, like whether he's been found guilty or not. He's the only guy in like the Normal Boots crew who genuinely hasn't had a single controversial thing happen to him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really funny that some people just manage to like completely get around that.
Some people manage to be a fucking good person. Jesus Christ, dude.
No, even good people, even spectacularly good people every now and again get a false accusation, or they get
That's true.
Or they get like ooh, you said something a little off color there in like 2007, you know? And it's just like, because like, you know, it's bound to happen at some point that if anybody goes digging through everything you've ever made, like, and that gets worse the longer you've been making things. If somebody were to dig through everything you've ever made that's publicly available, they're gonna find some shit. They're gonna find some objectionable shit somewhere. It might be one comment you made in a video 45 minutes into a 48-minute video about, like, spoons or some shit, like, over a decade ago, but it genuinely, there's, like, being a good person and being a non-controversial person have almost nothing to do with if you've ever actually had a notable controversy.
Yeah. The only thing I'm finding about Peanut Butter Gamer is that he, like, you just jump the gun on like an accusation against somebody else in normal boots.
He apologized. He apologized. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, and that sucks, but he apologized. And so, like, I guess I'm wrong
And
about
like
him
that's
not
not
having
even a
a
big
single
deal.
controversy.
Like that's because it's very
know what?
easy to get there.
I love the angry video game nerd so much because he's one of those guys. You know what the only problem anybody's ever had with him is? After 15 years or more of making these fucking stupid ass Nintendo game reviews, he decided like in like 2015, he decided that like, yep, I'm going to make a movie. I don't care if I can make it from my home. I don't care if I could like spend the budget of the movie on something better. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to go to LA. I want to like get a proper film crew together. I want to make a movie. I want to live my movie making dream, and then I'm going to come home and make more of these. And so he spends 2015 doing that. And after 2015, when like almost no nerd videos have come out in that time, he comes back in 2016, and the only problem from 2016 to now is that he's hired people like he's been dropped from Screw Attack, because I'm pretty sure Screw Attack does Screw Attack exist anymore? I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Let me find out.
You remember Screw Attack, right?
Of course I remember Screw Attack.
Everybody remembers Screw Attack. I'm pretty sure they like got bought and then became nothing. Like I'm pretty sure there was a situation like Rooster Teeth where they either got bought and like canceled or
February 4th, 2019.
Yeah, they're not that out of date. But anyway, he was like he hired folks from Screw Attack, and then Screw Attack dropped him, and then he hired hired people from Screenwave, the media company Screenwave, to take care of his shit and like help him with like the editing and the promotion of his videos and whatnot. And the video quality dropped a little bit because you could tell, instead of being as it tends to do when you move from one singular person doing all the work with one individual vision, when you get a bunch of people with a bunch of different ideas about what the thing should be, working on something that happens. But do you know why he got lazier? He wanted to spend more time with his wife and kids. He decided that in his fucking 40s, he would like to spend some time watching his kids grow up and having like time with his wife. And it's like, I can't fault him for that. He gave us 15 years of this shit. So if it's just if he wants to keep doing it and only releasing one every couple of months and playing in a frankly pretty shitty band called Rex Viper, I let him. You know, whatever. I don't care.
Apparently, Screw
that
Attack
man served his dues. They revamped.
Screw Attack rebranded to Death Battle. It didn't really die. It just kind of moved.
I remember.
Battle shit.
They got Death Battle from Rooster Teeth bought Death Battle, I'm pretty sure, and that's what happened there. But so Screw Attack gets a hold of Death Battle. Like they either created or they bought it when it was very, very small. I forget which. And then Death Battle becomes the biggest thing that Screw Attack has. And so they make it an in-house production. And eventually, they start axing other things to make room for Death Battle. They let the people who own the IPs to these things keep the IPs. Like with the Nerd, when they dropped the Nerd, they were like, you can keep making these. We technically could stop you, but like, we don't wanna. We kind of just don't wanna focus you anymore. So, shoo, go make your things. And good points for them for doing that. And not just saying, nope, this is our property, you can't have it. Fuck you, eat shit. You know, but apparently, I've seen some interviews from them, and the guys who run Screw Attack are actually pretty nice. Or the guys who ran Screw Attack, I should say. And then Death Battle kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then Rooster Teeth bought Screw Attack, and we're like, hey, we kind of just want Death Battle. Goodbye, the rest of your company, and got rid of everybody that wasn't Death Battle related, renamed it to Death Battle, as in just like the studio that makes Death Battle now, and that's all they do. That is literally all they do since 2019. And now Rooster Teeth is gone, and now what we're left with is Death Battle, the company, being able to just keep producing. Woo! And Death Battle is cool and all. They just did a Rick and Morty Doctor Who one somewhat recently, and I couldn't stand to watch it because the David Tennant impressionist in it sounded so bad.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think that the Doctor does win because
he should. He should. Frankly, I struggle to think of a fictional character that could win against him. But that's kind of the point of his character.
Goku is stupid.
Goku could like beat the shit out of him, yeah, but I don't think he'd win.
I'm
not. I'm talking like they're up against each other to the death, not like punches and kicks here.
To the death.
The Doctor's killed much stronger aliens. We don't need to get into nerd talk right now. We don't need to get into like my guy can beat up your guy.
Fucking Goku and Doctor Who fight about it.
Yeah, no, this isn't what we do here. We could do that if the audience would be interested in that. I'd be happy to do.
You guys,
I'd be happy to do a death battle episode. I would be happy to do a death battle episode where you just take characters and start pitting them against each other.
Nah, just us.
Just us? We're gonna do Voxel versus Jed death battle?
Yeah, well, Vox and Jed fight about it, you know?
Vox and Jed fight about it, that's the show. Yeah. We should do a podcast about that.
Holy shit, you're so fucking right.
We haven't been doing that. We should be doing a podcast right now. Oh my god, it's a logo!
Holy fuck, where? Microphones!
Microphone! We're recording a podcast!
Oh god. Oh god.
What do you want to talk about on our podcast? Elden Ring DLC came out.
Okay. Which one?
You got any thoughts? The new one. The new one.
I have no fucking clue about Elden Ring. I was saying which one because I said Back to the Future at the same time.
Okay, crapshoot topic then. Back to the Future. Let's go. I thought you cared about Elden Ring. I guess not.
I cared about Elden Ring. I have no fucking clue what's going on there. You don't know anything
about Elden Ring.
All I know is that like Kai Cenat got like a full-size Melina statue, and then Ludwig,
and then other Souls creators are mad about it.
Yeah, something like that.
But either way, I do want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that though. Actually, I do want to talk about. I want to talk about the controversy that I haven't seen any actual content creators get upset, but I have definitely seen people in like comment sections because doing what people in comment sections do, arguing about just like. Kai Cenat played played the most popular Souls game for a week and got a fucking life-size statue. There are content creators with millions of subscribers who have been playing the Souls games since day one who haven't received literally any acknowledgement from FromSoft. And it's just like, you make a fair point, but like, I don't know if actually the content creators involved care even a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I have no like knowledge one way or the other. But
yeah.
Like it is like a situation for sure.
I don't know. I do wish that it was like I don't know. Kai Cenat is one of those streamers where it's just like you're popular and like you're really big right now. Like Kai
Cenat came out of nowhere, dude. I haven't seen Kai Cenat before a couple months ago. Before like 3 or 4 months ago.
Dude.
I saw iShowSpeed come up. I saw him like coming up. He came up on the like talking Ben thing. Yeah, I show meat. But he he came up on the like talking Ben wave where people were doing streams like playing with like talking Ben and like talking Tom and shit, and then like streaming like FIFA and shit like that and just being a wild personality. He's one of those like reaction content creators. But like. He's having like sort of a good time, but like Kai Cenat came out of nowhere, dog.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word industry plant. I don't want to put a good man down. I don't know anything about his history though. Is my thing. I don't know anything about his history though, and I didn't hear about him until he started playing Elden Ring a couple months ago.
Out with,
but he's hanging out with celebrities on his stream regularly, and nobody I know who did Twitch for long enough has been doing that. So he's either got some connections, he's either got like I like you don't see people like Ludwig bringing like Kevin Hart on their stream to hang out for a while.
Yeah, and Ludwig is huge. Ludwig is a huge streamer, but Kai Cenat is just like gone.
Like he's just like I don't know. I think I don't want to put down his career because he genuinely seems like a pretty funny guy. The clips I've seen, he's a fairly like funny, like decent guy, like a decent humored guy, and I don't want to put him down. I fear though that like the flame that burns twice as bright burns for half as long or whatever they say. Where like I fear that he's going to like his career is going to just like stagnate then tank in a couple months, and I hate to see that happen.
It's like Speed. That's kind of happening to Speed.
Well, because that's what happens with these content creators, right? They hit it big on something, and then they have to keep that momentum. And then they have to figure out, okay, how do I pivot this into something? Like, it's that pivot that a lot of, like, flash in the pan content creators, I'm not saying Kaisenet is one, we've yet to see. But that's what a lot of the, like, flash in the pan content creators go through, where it's just like, okay, all right, I'm big. I've got millions of subs. I've got millions of followers on Twitch. I'm fucking doing it. I am him, you know? And then you won't be him in 3 weeks if you can't keep that audience entertained, you know, with something like similar but still fresh. Like, you gotta ride that line, you gotta commit to that shit, you gotta get it done, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of, like, celebrity downfalls, man, like, not just
you want to talk
content
celebrity
creators.
downfalls? All right.
We're talking about celebrity downfalls now. Jack Black. Jack Black is the one that made me really think about this.
I like Jack Black a lot, and then
the Zionist stuff.
He's been
and
like,
then
Zionism is one of the most recent celebrity kill. It's just like the latest in a long list of like moments where I'm like, oh, celebrities aren't just like me and you. These are rich assholes who are completely disconnected from the world around them. No matter how good they try to be, like, they are of a class and of a set of beliefs that just clashes horribly with the working class, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things where I could almost get past it when it was at very first. Because at the very first time, he was like, yeah, no, Hamas is bad. And Israel is, you know, I want children not to be dying. And that's what he said. And then he started going, like, more pro-Israel as it started getting worse. Where it's like, dude, this isn't about Hamas anymore. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I don't want to get too into the Israel-Palestine thing.
Of course.
But free Palestine, of course. I'll say that loud and proud. Yeah. I just don't want to dwell on such a like a topic.
A heavy topic.
I have trouble
I
though.
To mainly bring it up.
I like to do everything I can. And I like to raise visibility. And I like to do those sorts of things. And I don't mean to go like, oh, what a cowabummer this is, you know? And it's like, dude, you had to talk about it for 2 minutes on your podcast while, like, families are actively being murdered across the world from you. That's kind of out of touch of you to say that, like, I don't want to talk about it. It's a bummer, you know? But it genuinely, like, bums me the fuck out to the point where it's like, man, I don't get bummed. I get angry. I get upset. I get, like, because it's out of my control and it shouldn't be. Like, the people should have a say, and I have a whole lot of complicated feelings that I don't feel comfortable talking about publicly. And they're all pro-Palestinian, like, they're all pro-Palestinian and pro-Palestine thoughts. Obviously, I'm not hiding anything sinister. I just, like, I don't want to slip and say the wrong thing, and I fear it's not really my place to. I fear I should say everything I can say. Like, I should speak up, but it shouldn't. It's not my issue to speak on. I shouldn't be speaking on it. I should be boosting other people to speak on it. I should be, like, say as much as I should say something, I should be able to put other people up to say something as well. You know, I should be able to put people in positions who really know what they're talking about, who have really, really studied this thing, who, like, or who are living this thing actively and, like, experiencing the oppression involved and experiencing the heartache and experiencing all the troubles that come with it, you know, and experiencing, like, the destruction to be able to actually speak on it. And that's why I don't like to talk too much about it. It's like, you know, it's just like, at the end of the day, as much as I want to raise awareness, I don't want to seem like just some white guy waxing philosophical about a problem across the world from him without actually doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
Because that makes me part of the fucking problem.
The Israel thing is the most recent one, but, like, I also brought it up with Jack Black because it's just, like, he was the one that came to mind and reminded me, but, like, this has happened to a lot of creators recently. Not creators, but actors, where it's like, Jim Carrey, what's going on? What's going on, buddy? What are you doing?
Jim Carrey has been crazy for a long time. I hate to break that word out. Jim Carrey has been out of his mind for a very long time. It's just now he's at his late career where he's getting older and he's getting less willing to play along, and he's got some ideas, of course, but beyond his like he's a Zionist too, I'm pretty sure.
See, I just know about his vaccine
I don't know.
stuff, which is like
I don't know. His anti-vax stuff.
shit.
His anti-vax stuff is his pretty typical like celebrity like nonsense. Where it's just like, why do you believe that? Where does that come from for you? The anti-vax stuff I can almost get over because all you're hurting is you and yours, and like there's some pretty hurtful like anti-autism rhetoric involved in anti-vax stuff, and I stand against that where I can. And obviously having your child be immunocompromised compromises the people around them, and thus it's like that's a problem. But it's just like that's like anti-vax is almost so stupid, and like the bar for how stupid it is way higher than the bar for how harmful it is, and so I feel like it's like in league with like flat Earth or like the moon landing is fake to me, where it's just like, dude, this is such a dumb thing. I can't be mad at flat earthers. Like flat earthers less so, of course. Flat earthers are a different issue where it's like that's literally not hurting anybody. They're just stupid.
During like the dead of COVID, I genuinely was like, I got to the point because I had so many people around me, and I've got an immunocompromised mom, and I've not got a not great immune system myself. So I literally spent all of 2020, 2021, and half of 2022 literally inside all day, every day. I didn't even go outside for like walks. I didn't go outside to see my therapist. I didn't go outside to see my fucking dad. Granted, that was good for me.
Hey, we don't need to have a trauma dump episode. We've hit some pretty heavy topics tonight.
That's true. But like, I got to the point where it's just like, man, just suck it up, take the shot, do it for everyone. But yeah, let's get off the heavy topic. Let's talk about
like get your vaccines, people. Come on, it helps. It helps everybody.
Be pro-Israel.
Let's talk about Back to the
Don't
Future.
be an
You want to talk about Back to the Future? Let's talk about Back to the Future, please.
Back to the Future.
You've been segueing to Back to the Future and then talking about something completely different 3 whole times now. Let's talk about it.
Back to the Future is fucking fantastic. It is so silly. It is so campy. And
one of my favorite film trilogies of all time. Maybe my favorite film trilogy of all time.
We just finished watching through all of them. It's a very good time. It's all a very good time. My grandpa loved.
We've both seen them before, by the way.
Yeah.
We've both. You say that like
Many
we
times.
just watched them like for the first time. I've seen Back to the Future so many fucking times. I love it to death. I love watching it every time. I watch it, and it's one of those that I come back to every 5 years or so, where it's just like every 5 years. Actually, I think the 1955 to 85 gap marks about the amount of time since between like now and the first time I ever saw Back to the Future, which is fun.
Oh.
That's a fun little thing. It should be roundabout there anyway. That's not an exact science. But what I was saying was that like I've seen Back to the Future so many times and I love it every time, but I watch it every 5-ish years. So there's like just enough for me to rediscover there that like it's still so much fun every time I watch it.
It's so great. Vox told a story about how like he was in, I think it was his living room, and you were watching the TV with your uncle, and it was Back to the Future.
I was watching it with my uncle because my uncle likes very campy media as well, despite how like much of a not necessarily like a great guy he is, and like how like not silly of a guy he is. Very much he's not like, he doesn't not have a sense of humor. It's just like it's not
Hard
a
ass.
very, I wouldn't say hard ass. Hard ass implies that like he has no sense of humor. He definitely has a sense of humor. It's just not like, it's not very typical. It's very peculiar in like a deep south kind of way, if you catch my drift. And so like it's a lot of like vulgar sex references and vaguely racist shit that you have to like double take at and go ooh, every couple minutes. But but it's just a bunch of that kind of thing. And so it's like, it doesn't really seem like it'd be up his alley. I was shocked he was willing to, he like came in and he'll watch just about anything you put on. Genuinely. That's the kind of guy he is, where it's just like, oh, what are we watching? Back to the Future? All right. He watched like season 3, I think, of Sherlock with me, I think. And he like jumped in at season 3. And I don't know if you've seen BBC Sherlock, but it's
bad.
It's
particularly bad.
Season 3 is like, I don't think I finished it. We watched like 4 episodes of it, and we were both by the end of it like he was like this. I'm gonna be real with you, man. This sucks. And I was like, yeah, this fucking blows. Let's turn it off. And we watched. I don't remember what we watched. I think we turned on like River Monsters or something after that, just to fuck around.
I love
just something light where we could
Yeah,
both like still be watching TV, but have an excuse to just like, all right, I'm gonna grab a snack or something real quick. Tell me if Jeremy Wade catches like the killer bass or whatever while I'm away, you know. But it was just like I don't hang out with my uncle often. It's a very rare occurrence, but he'll just like I don't ever elect to hang out with him. I just like. He just exists in communal spaces a lot after I start existing in them.
Yeah.
Or used to when I was a kid. Anyway. But we were watching Back to the Future 3 together, I think, at the time. And we got to the scene with the drive-in movie theater at the beginning of the movie. We had just finished 2, and we were starting 3. That's what it was. We had done all 3 that day. He came in like halfway through the first one and just watched the trilogy with me from there. Because that was the summer that my internet was out for like that was one of the summers my internet was out. The internet would go out every summer for a little while on the basis of like, all right, we can pay to have the house cooled this month, or we can pay for internet. It genuinely will cost the extra $100 to keep the house cold. So this is what we're doing, and it's just like I'd get so bored out of my mind I would watch DVDs, and so I had this like I have the Back to the Future collection on Blu-ray, and so I picked those up and I was just watching those back to back. And I was on like my second rewatch of that like week. And so and he came in and he was enjoying it with me. And then my aunt comes in and she's very like, and this should give you an idea of how my family is. She comes in as like Marty's getting dressed in like the ridiculous like pink cowboy outfit, and then he gets in the DeLorean and he's like up to 88. And then into the drive-in movie theater thing, and then the Native Americans show up and they barrel over the DeLorean. You know, we're at that scene.
Yeah.
And she's just talking over the whole thing, going like, "So this is so silly and stupid. This is some real silly, stupid shit." Like she's not a big camp person. She like despises that kind of thing. She's somebody with a sense of humor, not a very good one, and not a very broad one, and not a very like high tolerance for. This is funny, but it doesn't make me laugh, you know? She doesn't have a high tolerance for that. Either something makes her belly laugh, or it's the stupidest bullshit she's ever seen, and you shouldn't bother trying, you know?
Yeah.
Like she's a very immediately, like, and I think that's where I get that from, personally, that, like, particular feature of mine that I don't really like all that much, of just the, like, I have had my mind made up whether I like something or not 5 minutes in, and she's the exact same way, of, like, and she was just like, God, your grandfather would have really enjoyed this. You fucking, like, he loved this kind of stupid, dumb shit, you know? And I was just like, I think this is really good. And it really got me, like thinking about just, like, because, you know, I fucking had a lot of time to think back then. And I was just sitting around and I was like, you know, it really got me thinking about the quality of, like, it's weird how, like certain features can skip a generation.
Oh, yeah.
Of just, like... Yeah. My grandpa, like, the more I hear about him, the more I realized he was just like me, you know? That a lot of those underlying features survived in his kids and then were passed upon me, you know?
Same. Like,
anyway.
for my grandpa, he had a lot of political views, but he would have respected me because we were both very stubborn. We are both very stubborn people, and he would have respected me for sticking to my guns about what I think is right. And like we have a lot of similar things, like even like facial traits. I've got really high pronounced cheekbones and a very particular nose, where it's just like these are features from my grandfather that have just like completely skipped a generation. I don't really look like my family all too much. I look kind of like my family, but I look nothing like my dad compared to my grandpa. And so it's he loved those movies too, and so like that story that Vox said really kind of resonated with me. Of just like, yeah, it just does kind of skip a generation, you know?
Yeah, no, but I feel like Back to the Future is a good litmus of just like there's enough there, and it's so good and it's so callbacky and it's so like quick with it that you can miss certain bits if you're not like it's one of those movies where like, and I had to tell Wifey this in the middle of the movie, like 10 minutes into the movie, because they got up to get food and missed like the opening like. The opening 10 minutes without saying they were getting up, and we were like, we'll back it up, and they go, no, I'll just watch it from here, that's fine. I got up knowing I'd missed something, and I was like, no, you don't understand. if you want to get any of the jokes in the latter 45 minutes of this movie, you need to be watching the first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
you need to know the name of the current
diligently.
running mayor.
You need to know
like
you need to know about the Mayor Goldie Wilson bit. You need to know about the clock tower. You need to know about that for plot reasons. You need to know about Doc Brown
the
and
fishbowl
Marty
dance or whatever.
and meeting the enchant. You need to know about the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. You need to know about his Uncle Joey being in prison. You need to know like so many little various things or like bits later in the movie. Well, you need to know Marty McFly is in a band. You need to know that Marty McFly can skateboard real well. And these are all things the movie does a great job of flashing right into your face and making very obvious. You don't need to be super diligent, but you can't be like holding a conversation and you can't like look away for more than like a minute at a time, or else you're definitely going to see a joke later in the trilogy and go, the fuck? Why are they doing that? You know? Because they did it in the first one, in like the first 15 minutes of the first one. So like, and the whole set of movies is like that pretty much. You can coast by late 2 to like 3, where it's like in the third one, most of the jokes are again about the first movie, like are callbacks to the first one, with like the occasional, like the entire plot of the third one is immediate sequel to the second one because they were filmed back to back as one continuous story and then split into 2 movies. But like intentionally so, they were designed to be split, but like they were told as like, all right, well, how do we move on for the first one? But like you can kind of coast by the end, but for the first film in the franchise, you need to sit, you need to watch it, and you need to pay attention to like fully appreciate the picture. I'm sorry, I'm not choking up about this. I'm fucking like hiccuping. But I need to like you need to like appreciate. You have to fully to be able to like fully appreciate what's been sat in front of you and like the piece of film. I'm not saying that like, oh, you need to like glue your eyes open and never look away and read all the subtitles and don't forget that thing in the top left corner at 45 minutes and 66 seconds. That's like more than a minute. Never mind. But like you need to pay attention though. At least you need to like give the first movie your full attention. And I promise you won't regret it for the little things that'll make you laugh in the second one and the third one. Yeah. Like, and it's like, genuinely such a good franchise. I love it to death.
Fuck it. Even the first one, there are, like, such little things where it's just like, oh, wow, that was foreshadowed, like, with, like, nothing. Like, that was foreshadowed with, like, a throwaway bit. Wow. Back to the Future is just fantastic. It's just a great movie. It's a great set of movies. It has its moments.
It really is.
It is a movie from what is it?
It has some moments where they say in the second and third one. I don't think they say anything in the first one, but in the second and third one, they have a couple words in there that like one was said by a man in 1955, written by a man in 1985, and so like. You can gather that, like, some language... Like, two whole words referring to Native Americans. A term referring to Native Americans that was still widely used in a non-offensive way in the 80s. And, like, you know... And I'm sure there were people protesting, and I'm sure there were people still mad about it at the time, about the use of that word. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't, like... Not everybody was aware that that was a bad word at the time, and I'm thankful we live in an era where everyone can be aware of everything. Because it's genuinely so easy to keep up with that kind of stuff in the modern era. And then one was said by... There are a couple comments about Chinese people made, but mostly by, like, the racists, like, the jokes about just, like, oh, man, white guys in the Old West were real fucking racist about Chinese people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was made at the expense of racists, not as, like, a genuine, earnest term. The only argument I have about the first movie that I've heard people point out that I didn't even think of, which shows, you know, I didn't even think of having seen it so many times, until a person of color pointed it out to me, was, that, like, Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good, is played in 1955, and then, like, it's insinuated that, you know, and Chuck Berry is a very influential figure in rock and roll, of just, like, it's insinuated that Marty McFly, a white kid, like a white guy in the 50s, like from the 80s goes back in time and steals the invention of rock and roll from people of color. And it's just like, yeah, that sucks. That sucks if you think about it too hard, but I genuinely don't think they were thinking about it that hard. Like, I don't think they were, like, that's the thing is these movies are so innocent and these movies are so, like, genuinely family fun without trying to. It doesn't seem like they're trying to make a kid's movie, but I'd say anybody from ages 8 to 80 can enjoy these movies genuinely without, like, feeling like they're too old for it or too young for it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the great thing about them. I just don't think they were taking that. That's the great thing about them is that I don't think they thought about it too hard. I don't think they thought about it from a racial angle. I thought they just thought about like this would be this song has like some cool like a very cool guitar solo that we can have Marty play. That's like just slightly out of its time for 55, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that they can do like, the like what the fuck was that gag, you know? Of everybody hating it.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like, yeah, you children love it.
But anyway, you should see Back to the Future if you haven't. If you've somehow managed to slip this one, if you somehow managed to miss this one, you should watch it. There are movies that Jed's managed to miss though that I want to talk about.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of movies that Jed has missed. I think that did we have the Truman Show bit on? Speaking of Jim Carrey, on the podcast, or was that on a stream? I can't remember.
It was on a stream. Because your husband was like yelling at me about it.
Oh, that was on a stream then. Yes.
Yep.
Right now I've got Jed hasn't seen any of speaking of movies that aged kind of poorly when it comes to the racial stuff. Jed hasn't seen any of the Kevin Smith catalog as far as I've seen, and I like those movies from just like a dumb comedy perspective of just like they're very popcorny, they're very fun. I think you would enjoy them. I think you would most enjoy his first work, Clerks. Clerks is a standout favorite of mine because that doesn't have a lot of those like insensitivities and like it doesn't show its age very well. It doesn't show its age very often, I should say. It wears its age very well is the other thing I was gonna say. Jed hasn't seen The Truman Show, which is a movie I also think you would enjoy a whole hell of a lot. That goes into a lot of like what it is to be a performer and like weirdly about like consent and like what a man's life is worth and so on and so forth. I think you would really enjoy it. Jim Carrey gives, despite his personal beliefs, gives a fantastic performance. I think you would like it a lot. And there are a bunch of so I'm keeping a running tally and I'm holding you to at some point watching these movies because I do think you would enjoy them a whole hell of a lot, and I'm just like waiting for the night we can't do Walking Dead and we can do one of these instead.
Yeah. Speaking of Walking Dead, man.
Speaking of Walking Dead, I'm
Walking Dead.
I don't mind saying this because I know Wivey doesn't listen to this show. Fuck you, Wivey, if you're listening to this show. If you're listening to this show, fuck you.
Thank you
because I know you're not. Thank you for watching, Wivey, if you are. But I know for a fact you are not. And you know how I know that? You told me. You said it to me at one point. I'm pretty sure you said it directly. Yeah, I don't really watch the podcast, so I don't know. Because I was gonna repeat a story from the podcast like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know if you keep up with the podcast, but I said it on there. But I don't mind saying this because none of the people we watch Walking Dead with, I don't mind being bluntly honest. We've been watching The Walking Dead since season 1. We've watched it all the way from season 1 to season 10, I believe, is where we're almost at. We're finishing season 9, yeah?
We're no, we finished season 9. We're on season 10. We're in the heart of season 10
now. We're on season 10 now, and I am genuinely done with the show. I am done.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on zombie media for the time. I know I agreed to watch all the spin-offs, and I will. I'm happy to. Immediately following The Walking Dead with it, it's become a nightly chore for me of just like, all right.
Yeah.
Now I gotta watch The Walking Dead, and by watch The Walking Dead, I mean desperately try to invest myself in the current Walking Dead cast. And
Walking Dead gets
just so stagnant.
Weird.
It's just if you don't want to
hear spoilers, because there may be some spoilers that happen.
This is at the back end of the show. We're gonna talk about more different topics before we end the show for sure.
Yeah.
So like, give us 5 minutes. That's our allotment. Go.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. All right. So,
all right. Every time Negan's not on the screen, I'm thinking about Negan.
Yeah, season 9. I know this is an unpopular opinion. It's not unpopular necessarily, Rick should have fucking died. If they were gonna kill Rick, dude.
Yeah, go whole hog or
don't half-ass. Yeah, don't half-ass. Kill Rick, end the series, call it a day. It wouldn't have been a great ending, but it would have been an ending. And it's like, dude, man, like it. Late season Walking Dead loses it jumps the shark, dude. We're now on like 3 different spin-offs of characters, and we have like a Ship of Theseus cast where it's like, who do we have left from the first season? Daryl, Carol.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And I like those characters. I like those characters, but they're definitely not my favorites from season 1.
Yeah, like Daryl is good, but like I don't know, I miss Rick. I miss Rick interacting with things. I miss Carl. Like I can appreciate Carl's death a little bit more as I've gotten after I sat on it, because I was very upset by it at first. But like Carl's death got like a whole thing with it, and I didn't mind it as much. But still, I miss our fucking cast of characters, and I miss when there was an actual threat from the zombies. It's all just like, it just kind of feels like when you're writing an essay, and it's like, shit, I need to hit the 500 word count. I'll just do what I did earlier, say what I said earlier in different words. I don't know if you've ever done that, but like that is a way to write an essay and extend its fucking amount of words in there, and that's what it feels like.
We're writing more Walking Dead because we need to write more Walking Dead because AMC needs more money. That's what this is at this stage. Yeah. I wish it weren't that. I wish great Walking Dead were still being produced. We're just getting all right Walking Dead. Frankly, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. I struggle to call it bad, but it's just kind of passable. You know?
Yeah.
It makes me think about Vince Gilligan in Breaking Bad and the thing he said about ending Breaking Bad, where he said, I don't want to, I don't want people to come back to my show in like 6 years and flip the channel to AMC and go, Breaking Bad, that's still on? I don't want that to be a comment people have about my show, but that is the comment I have about The Walking Dead, is there's more, they made more of this show. There's still more. It's not over yet.
We got now Daryl's in Paris.
And we've got like Fear the Walking Dead. We've got
Negan spinoff. We got Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead.
Do we have a Negan spinoff?
There is a Negan spinoff. Yes.
I'm actually interested in that. We're having Negan be just the focus of the series for a while. But that's what I'm saying, is just The Walking Dead has given it to me. Is all. I've gotten all the good content out of it. I think I'm done. But everybody else is so enthusiastic about it that it's like, fine, I'll finish watching The Walking Dead. I'll finish it up.
Coming up. I love The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows. We're coming up on the point where I threw in the towel and went, I'm fucking done. I can't do this anymore. We've jumped the shark. Lots of plot. Done. Thrown in the towel. And it's like, man, I wish I would like it more, but I have a hard time every time I've shown this show to anybody. And so far, Vox is the first time that we've actually made it there. But every time I say, halfway through season 9 is where I think it should end. If you want to stop there, good. Like, that is a good stopping point. And
that is the brief you gave me. But then we actually got there, and I was just like, well, I want to know what they do without Rick. Because that episode was actually, like, still... Like, I think back on that episode, and I'm like, that was, like, the last episode I'd call great.
Yeah, like, that was a good episode, because...
If I knew it's like when you're eating ice cream, and you've made a slightly too big bowl, and you finish your food, you get to the point where you're full of ice cream, and you're like, alright, I've had my fill, I think I'm good, there's still 3 bites left. I'll eat the last 3 bites. And then you eat the last 3 bites, and your stomach is too full to move. You feel like if you move, you will upset your stomach much, much worse. It's like that to me, where it's just like, dude, I would have stopped. If I had known before I started scooping the ice cream, I wouldn't have made the commitment to eat this entire bowl. If I had known before we started The Walking Dead how I'd feel about where we're at with it now, I wouldn't have started The Walking Dead, or I wouldn't have committed to watching the entirety of it at the start. Yeah. But I made that commitment, and I'll finish it, goddammit, even if I finish it exclusively on my phone the entire fucking show.
The problem is that season 9 is so First half of season 9 is so good. It does all the things of like,
Hey,
how
we
do
made it
we
to the 5
deal
minute
with
mark.
it? What comes after? Oh, okay.
So no
We are done.
spoilers beyond this point.
We are Jover. No more Walking Dead.
Oh, we're done with Walking Dead talk fully. Not even
I
non-spoiler
mean, I don't
stuff.
know how to get. I don't know how.
But
to
anyway,
get around spoiler stuff.
the consensus without spoilers of what you missed by skipping 5 minutes ahead was, yeah, no, I've been watching The Walking Dead with Jed and Wivey and a few other friends, and Wivey and those other friends are still very excited to finish The Walking Dead, but I'm about to drop out, I think. There's about to come a point where it's like, I don't know how much more of this show I can endure, in its current state. It better get better in 8 episodes or I'm out.
The way that I feel about it is the way that I feel about like an obligation to a family member, where it's like, man, I'll stick through. I'll stick through because what else am I gonna do? I really like this show. Like, I gotta watch what else is there. I guess it's like, man, I don't like feeling an obligation to this. I want to enjoy the show.
Yeah, no, I get you. But that's Walking Dead talk. That's where we're at with that.
Talk. We got 5 minutes of it in.
We got 5 good minutes of The Walking Dead. But I got more things I want to talk about. I got way more things I want to talk about.
You want to spitfire them?
I'll run you through
minutes?
some stuff, and you can make comment as you wish. I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Direct. Are there any standouts from that you've heard about that you're interested in?
People like the fact that Zelda is a playable character, and I'm fine with it. People either love it or they hate it. It's fine.
Okay, we're talking about. I have a few games written down to talk about from that. We're talking about The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which seems to be a follow-up to Link's Awakening. Maybe it's in that same art style as the Link's Awakening remake, but it's a Zelda-focused game where Zelda basically carries around IKEA blueprints and is able to like rebuild shit from memory with like a magic wand staff thing. And I will say, as someone who is like long known about Super Princess Peach and how they gave her like a vibrator wand in that game as like her primary thing.
Emotions.
Yeah, and like as somebody who knows about that game as a female protagonist, when they introduced Zelda and then we wanted something interesting for Zelda to do in this game, and I was just like, okay, what is it, Nintendo? And they went, so we gave her a staff, and I just went, oh no, are we doing it again? And they were like,
it happens.
She can make tables. That's genuinely how they introduce it. They go, we gave her a staff. She can use it to make tables. And I was like, is that it? And then they expand on just like,
she can just do fucking tables, dude.
A shitload of objects throughout the world are craftable with the thing, and it doesn't cost you anything. But I think like maybe there's like a mana bar or something. But either way, you can recreate items to solve problems. It's like, imagine Scribblenauts, except The Legend of Zelda, and like an open world RPG, freedom. And a little less a creative freedom. Only like objects and assets that are already in the game that you collect as you go. That's basically what it is. You can remake enemies to fight on your side instead of as enemies, like as you defeat those enemies. So if you want to like rock up to Ganon's doorstep, or whoever the big bad is for this one, if you want to rock up to Ganon's doorstep and it's like 17,000 Octoroks, you can do that. You can just do that. I don't know how effective it'll be, but that's how you can play the game, is just keep summoning enemies to fight for you.
Dude.
And like climbing mountains by spawning 50 tables in a staircase formation. Like, you can do that shit. It's cool.
Now I want The Legend of Zelda, the table game.
You can play this game that way. You could genuinely play this game that way. You could just use tables if you wanted. Yeah, table percent. I can't wait to see the speedruns that come out of this, actually. You make a valid point of just, like, I can't wait, because it's genuinely such a creative concept, and, like, especially when placing it in, like, not quite an open world, but, like, a flat RPG where it's like, haha, here's a tower, get to the top of the tower and fight the big bad, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna stack a staircase of tables and climb up, and then once I get up there, I'm gonna
build more tables.
I'm gonna send 17 Octoroks in to fight him, and then if that doesn't work, I'll send another wave of them in there, and I'll keep doing that until it works. You know, and that's
bugs.
I want to play this game, but I want to play this game, and I want to play it in that like stupid bullshitty way. That's what
would
I
be
want to do.
so fun.
But
Just like how is this the worst way that I could possibly?
this is the most interested I've been in a Zelda game in years. Genuinely,
I love
it's
Breath
the
of
most
the Wild
intrigued
and Tears of the
conceptually.
Kingdom.
I like. It's called Echoes of Wisdom. She has the Triforce of Wisdom, and that's what we're doing with it.
Yeah.
People are actually kind of upset. It's like, why can't Zelda be cool? Why can't Zelda wield a sword and fight bad guys with a sword? I think that would be cool. And it's just like, you just want a Zelda game,
That's
except
her whole thing.
yeah, that's her whole thing, is that she's wise, not strong. That's her whole thing. She's still strong, but she's not, like, that's not her characteristic. That's Link's characteristic, is that Link is courageous and she is wise, and then Ganon is
power.
the other one. Yeah.
Raw power.
Yeah, it's power. But like, and I like the turning it on its head of just like, all right, Link's out of the fucking picture. Zelda, you solve this one. You are a substitute Link this time. Figure it out. And then she figures it out, and she does a great job in her own way, instead of trying to do it in Link's way. I like that.
Yeah, I don't think it would do it. Just like at that point, just make a gender swap game.
Make a new like Zelda game. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Make
yet
Link
another
a girl.
Zelda game.
Who's stopping you?
People have been craving Linkle for like years, I think is what they call that gender swap. I don't like that it rhymes with tinkle, but sure, whatever. That's fine.
Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me where it's like, if you want the, your female protagonist to wield a sword and walk around and go fucking great. That's Link. Just reincarnate Link as a woman. There you go.
You can do that. That's
fun.
possible. The only character you can't reasonably gender swap in the like main trio of Triforce characters is Ganon, because it wouldn't make much sense. I do still think you could pull that off, though. I do still think you could pull that off, though, where like not a Ganon is born, but just like some random Gerudo is just like, all right, yeah, I'm the big bad this time. Some mishap happens, and we just get like a regular Gerudo woman as like the big bad. I think that could be cool.
That could be interesting, yeah.
I think that could genuinely be a cool concept. But speaking of cool concepts, I like what they're doing with it. I like that a Zelda game is doing something other than like traditional. I like how experimental Zelda has been lately. I like that Link's Awakening, while a traditional Zelda remake, is still experimental in its art style. I like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom completely flipping what it means to be a Zelda game on its head. I like this game for introducing other things. I like Cadence of Hyrule, which is like Crypt of the Necrodancer, but Zelda. I love that they're like taking the Zelda franchise and just swapping the puzzle pieces around and sometimes throwing in a new one to substitute. Like, I like that they're doing that. I enjoy when like this as a franchise, because like they've been doing the like thing with Zelda games where it's just like, all right, what if we put Link on a train? Okay, what if we put him on a boat this time? Okay, what if we make him turn into a wolf? But it's like all of these are still like the same kind of like Ocarina of Time style Zelda game.
Yeah.
And now we're like getting beyond that as a franchise where it's like, what if Zelda was the main protagonist? And we're still like honoring that spirit of just like, what if the same kind of game but this minor change, but now they're doing the minor changes in such a way that have like a ripple effect outward of just like, what if a Zelda game was a rhythm game? What if a Zelda game was more open world?
Build a B-47 bomber that's functional.
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff.
It's fucking funny.
I genuinely like that kind of stuff. I think it's all very, very amusing and interesting. But no, yeah, that's Echoes of Wisdom. You got more thoughts?
Okay. No. Spitball another one. Come on. Throw it at me.
All right, something smaller. Something smaller. Switch Online mature rated segment. They've got a portion.
What?
I just read that off my topics list. They were doing N64 games on the thing, and they're like, all right, and now introducing our Switch Online Mature 17 Plus pack for N64. That's genuinely what it's called. That mouthful is the actual name. Okay.
What fucking game is 17 plus?
Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
They might do Conquer. They might do more from the Rare library like that. They might do, they did Turok. They added Turok as well, the, like, dinosaur game. They added that one. Because that one's very adult. I think, ask Yvie about Turok. Maybe Yvie will know more about Turok than I do. Because I don't know a ton about Turok, but what I've seen about Turok is cool. And maybe, like, Doom. 64 and things like that. Just things that weren't
Yeah, I guess so.
like games. There are a bunch of games on N64 that are 17 plus that are interesting. That's just a smaller thing. I don't know that it should be. The problem is it's its own app. There's the regular N64 Switch Online app,
That's
and then there's
stupid.
the Nintendo 64 Mature 17 Plus Edition pack thing that you can get as
When I
well that
download
has those.
4 N64 games in entirely different software.
Yeah, for some reason, instead of just like locking them off under like a "Are you 17 up?" thing, or like being able to lock them in the parent, turn them on in like the parental controls, maybe make them even off by default. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like that would work for me. I don't know why you need to do it that way. But like whatever, Nintendo's like overly cautious about those kinds of things and kind of like ass backwards with those kinds of things sometimes. So whatever, that's what they do. They do what they do. That's fine. But no, yeah, that's mature 17 plus. You got any thoughts about Nintendo Switch Online and the current state of it? 'Cause I do.
No.
I think Nintendo Switch
I
Online.
think Nintendo Switch Online has always been garbage.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's getting less ridiculous over time, but like in a world where Virtual Console existed, I just don't see paying a subscription fee to play a couple of games, from older consoles. But speaking of games from older consoles, we got remakes. They're re-releasing Donkey Kong Country Returns. Donkey Kong Country Returns is okay. So they released Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, right?
Yeah, I know.
And it was real good. I played that one. It's good. I didn't finish it, but I played it. And then it was one of the first big platformers to do that 2D, 3D thing where like you go into like a plane on the background and then come back. But then they re-released it on 3DS. I don't know if you know about this. It wasn't as HD. They just re-released it and they made a new level pack for it. And that was it. And now the Switch version is in full HD on the Switch. And it has all the 3DS levels in it. And it looks pretty good. It looks really good. I might genuinely pick up Donkey Kong Country Returns again. I say pick it up.
Yeah.
I'll probably emulate it on my Steam Deck.
No,
I'll probably play it again just because it's a fun game. You got any thoughts about Donkey Kong Country Returns or Donkey Kong Country in general?
I fucking that's all I can think about Donkey Kong. I don't know anything about Donkey Kong really.
All right, cool. I'm glad we're still spitballing these.
Yeah, come on, throw another one.
Speaking of remakes, the other remake involved here, Luigi's Mansion 2 remake. I have things to say about this.
I guess so. Sure.
I have a lot of things to. Well, I have a thing to say about this. It is so again, Luigi's Mansion 2 released on 3DS.
3DS game.
But it released as Luigi's Mansion 2 in Japan. In every other region, it's Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. There's no 2 in that title. I guess something slipped through the cracks, or they decided to like kind of retcon that, because now internationally they're just calling it Luigi's Mansion 2 as the re-release.
I figure what happened was they weren't expecting to do a Luigi's Mansion 3. So it's just like, yeah, fuck it. Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion The Dark Moon. Fuck it.
Yeah, they just kind of dropped the subtitling thing and went back to numbering, and went to numbering for the first time, I guess. And that's fine. That's all right. I don't mind. You got thoughts about Luigi's Mansion? I've never finished a Luigi's Mansion game. I've started a couple of them. I started 1 and 3, namely, but I started 1 and then got through the process of collecting 1 of the 50 boos you need to collect to get through that game. And then I went, I need to do 50 of these? No thanks. And then I turned the game off and just didn't.
So, Vox, collectively, our knowledge, because I've played like a quarter of 2, we have like a minuscule amount of knowledge of every video game in the Luigi's Mansion game. Yeah. Imagine this.
We combined to make a guy who knows things about Luigi's Mansion sometimes. But
who knows like the bare minimum.
Here's a game franchise I think you would really like if you bothered to get into them. Metroid Prime 4. We got a release date for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into Metroid Prime.
You should play the Metroid Prime. They came out on Switch.
Crazy.
The original trilogy is on Switch now, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but you can play them. Metroid Prime trilogy
totally legally.
Metroid Prime trilogy is available on like Wii if you want to emulate it on Wii. You can play it with a GameCube controller. It doesn't require like motion control or anything. Therefore, you can play it with like any controller really in Dolphin. But Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. I think you would really like Metroid Prime. You like Halo, and I know you liked Metroid, the new one. The one that was real slick Metroid Zero Mission? No, it's Zero Mission's on the
No.
fucking Game
Zero
Boy.
Mission is
That is the
fucking Game
remake
Boy,
of
you dipshit.
that is the remake of Metroid on the NES on the Game Boy is Metroid Zero Mission. What was the new one called? It's gonna kill me. Do you know?
Not Metroid
Metroid Dread.
Prime.
Metroid Dread.
Dread.
That's what
Dread
it was called.
really good.
I know you liked
My
that
problem
one.
with Dread was
Your problem with Dread?
played the game all the way to the end, got to the final boss fight, went, Jesus Christ, this boss fight is too stressful for me right now. I'll set it down, come back to it later. Never beat it.
You just
Never
dropped
beat
it in
the game.
that moment because you just never came back to it. You got busy with other stuff.
Yep.
Give Metroid Prime a try. I'm not a big Metroid Prime guy because I first person shooters and this is gonna sound silly coming from the Half-Life guy, but Halo-esque first person shooters specifically with their campaigns just don't hold me for very long. I don't know what it is about them, but I think you would enjoy them a fair bit, and you should definitely check them out before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I think you could enjoy that a lot.
Metroid Prime 4 is good.
Yeah. Yeah. You got thoughts about Metroid as a franchise? You want to talk about Metroid as a franchise for a minute? Your experiences with it? 'Cause I know you talked about Dread. Did you play any game before that?
I played Fusion. I liked Fusion. That was a really good Game Boy game. And Super Metroid is my childhood. So
Super Metroid's real good too, yeah. I like the
Super
like
Metroid is really
good sound effect in that game. It's fun.
That's all you can remember about it.
That's my favorite part of the game. I didn't play Super Metroid. I hear it's a real good one. Metroidvanias, again, are another type of game that just... Not that I don't like them. They don't evade me. I don't not like them, and they make sense to me. It's just, it takes a lot for me to get into one. I have to really be in a headspace for them, and then I have to have... Not only do I have to be in a headspace, I have to be in a headspace and have the approximately 10 hours to just, like, explore their world and, like, exist in it level to level to really enjoy playing it. Like, those are the kinds of games, like RPGs, that I can't get into simply because they would eat my life. But as much as I know I would enjoy them. But speaking of games that we could enjoy, the new Among Us update got shown off during this. It looks kind of cool.
I don't know anything about any Among Us.
They're introducing like roles into it, like the ghost or whatever.
There already was a game mode like that.
No, but they're introducing that kind of stuff into like a secondary version of the base game mode where like there are multiple imposters, they roll you a type of imposter you can be, where it's like the base imposter or like the ghost imposter that has the ability to like temporarily become invisible, like temporarily, and then you kill and you're not invisible anymore. And then there's like, I think there's like a mimic one that like you're not like on the map until you kill, and then you're just mimicking the first person you killed for a while. And you have to like kill it again in a certain amount of time, because obviously if they find the dead body and then find you walking around, they're gonna go, oh, you're the mimic one, get out of here, you know? So you have to kill a second and third and fourth guy, you know, to not be found out, and you're changing identities pretty consistently throughout the game, and I think that's an interesting way to do it. There's like the detective role there are like roles now for like it's becoming more TTT-esque. It's becoming more TTT-esque is what's happening. It's becoming more like Trouble in Terrorist Town over time.
Yeah.
And I like that. I dig that. I like that the gameplay loop for Among Us is a little more complex, because I feel like if those roles existed in 2020, I would have gotten another month out of that game over like the 2 months that I got out of it with friends, while everybody else in the entire fucking planet was playing it as well. So that game was fun. That game was, and I still own it on PC, so I might be able to maybe scrounge a group together to play it at some point for a night, because I think that could be fun.
Yeah. I could probably squeeze some of the Willow people in. I'm sure they would have a time.
Willow Among Us night? That'd be fun. That'd be a fun thing to plan sometime. We should head that event. We should head an event for Willow at some point. That could be our event. Be a lot of the fun. Willow Among Us side event.
I don't know if I want that to be our headed event, but
we can do that, and then that like is such a low stakes thing that like if we don't care about it, then we don't gotta do it. So if any Willow members are listening to this podcast and we haven't already reached out to you about doing that at some point, because we probably won't reach out in the next week, shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM. Won't. I'll keep names marked down. I just want to gauge interest here, because I know a couple Willow folks listen to this show. So that's something.
Woolen
and Twig.
I hope your class is going well, Woolen.
Yeah, I hope you're having a good class. How was our swearing earlier? You want to hear some more? I don't think we've sworn a lot today. I think we've sworn
We
like
haven't.
a shockingly
Talking
little
about some
amount, but I
really
also
heavy
think about that.
topics.
We did, and
Let's
we
have an
didn't swear
argument.
about them. We can have an argument. We're not done with Nintendo Direct, though. I want to finish those topics. I want to finish We're not done yet. We got more things.
Dude, we gotta fucking end the show. We're on a timetable, dog.
You're arguing with me about ending the show? We've got time. We've still got like 10 minutes on the timer. We've still got literally 10 whole minutes, like with cuts before the show is over. All right. I promise. And if we go a little over, that's fine.
That was your argument, to be honest. I thought that
that is my argument. I didn't know we were doing a bit. I thought you were doing that bit. I thought you were kickstarting that bit. But
yeah, we were kind of both.
They showed off Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which is coming to the Switch.
I love Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Moving on.
You want to talk about Hello Kitty the Island?
Nope.
Okay, no, you want to move on?
Moving on.
They showed Lego Dimensions, except it's Funko Pops.
No.
They're about like a decade late to that one, and it looks like ugly as sin. The only notable thing about it is that it's got like, all the usual franchises, but like Five Nights at Freddy's is in there too, because that made Funko a lot of fucking money.
Toys to Life, loud incorrect buzzer in 2024.
It's not Toys to Life. It's not Toys to Life, as far as I saw. It's just a Funko Pop game. It's just
a piss ugly game? Great.
It's just that game, yeah. It's not like a Toys to Life thing or anything. They should have done that, though. They would have made a lot of money. I don't think they should have, trend-wise, they're real late to it. They should have done it, 5 years ago, and they would have made a lot of money.
Fuck it. Closer to, 8.
God damn, yeah, it has almost been, a decade, huh? Since Skylanders began. Mario and Luigi, the Brothership. I haven't really, I'll level with you, played any of the Mario and Luigi RPG games in that franchise.
I played the Bowser of War one. That was pretty fun.
Bowser's Inside Story on the Nintendo DS system.
Yep, that's the one I played. It was a pretty good time. I remember I
liked what I played of though. I played half of Superstar Saga. I remember that, and then I stopped playing it. There are so many Nintendo games that I just don't get through when I really should. But I want to.
They aren't my thing necessarily, but
I'm considering picking up that franchise as a stream franchise soon for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Of just a thing to play on the side. Maybe I'll try doing that. I don't know if I should play the originals or the remakes. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll play the originals and then do the remakes after at some point down the line when I feel like it. But yeah, because there's not remakes of all of them yet. They remade
they remade
the first two. They made the first. No, they did the first three. They did the first three because Bowser's Inside Story has one.
Yeah, no, they did.
And then Partners in Time has one, and Superstar Saga has one. And they got expansions. They got new content, so that's maybe what I'll go to those for. I don't know. I'm considering doing those because the new one looks really, really good, and it's again another side franchise of Nintendo that I've just been missing out on all these years. Because I grew up poor, so I didn't get to play a lot of games. But growing up, and so it's just a lot of catching up on that sort of thing. But Mario and Luigi the Brothership. It's called the Mario and Luigi the Brothership. I haven't actually talked about the new Mario and Luigi game yet. I just talked about the franchise.
Go!
Mario and Luigi the Brothership. Mario and Luigi the Brothership. They're doing going from island to island. They've got these electro plug guys, these Chibi Robo looking motherfuckers as enemies.
I love
the
Chibi
big bad
Robo
in this game. It's gonna be great. Oh, I love Chibi Robo too. I've never played a Chibi Robo game, but I like his design.
Me neither, but I like him. I like him.
I like him. Yeah, I like him. Mario and Luigi the Brothership. It's another Mario RPG, and it's
you said Mario
and Luigi the Brothership.
For 70% of the segment about it. That has been
those
all
are my
you
thoughts.
said about the game.
They put out a really nice animated trailer. They put out a really nice animated trailer that I thought looked really cool, and I enjoyed watching it. I had a good time watching it, and I will probably pick up the franchise, and then if I pick up the franchise and enjoy it, I'll pick up the game. That's what these new releases are for, by the way. It's just Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. I should play the first 3 Metroid Primes. Oh, they're remaking Donkey Kong Country Returns? I should play Donkey Kong Country. Oh, they're making a new Mario and Luigi game? I should pick up all the old Mario and Luigi games and play them. That's what directs this are for me. But as far as the topics I've told you about, that is all the notable things that aren't
all of them?
random anime schlock. These are all the first party announcements in the trailer, pretty much. Yes. including a couple
Damn.
extras like the Among Us thing I wanted to talk about and the Funko thing I wanted to talk about, and Hello Kitty Island Adventure. But
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
that was the Nintendo Direct. How do you feel about the Nintendo Direct as like a second-hander, having not actually seen the Direct as it went out, just sort of watching it through
Nintendo
hearing it through watching me watch it?
Has a lot of interesting things. I think they need to reach out of their comfort zone a little bit more. The Zelda thing is out of their comfort zone. I'll give it that.
A new Mario and Luigi game is a new Mario and Luigi game, and those are usually pretty experimental.
Yeah, they always are, but that's always a different team than like it's not quite the Nintendo team that does those from what I remember.
It's Alpha Dream, and Alpha Dream is gone now. But Nintendo hired like most of the people who worked at Alpha Dream.
So it's quote unquote Nintendo, but also
it's still Nintendo, but probably mostly just old people from Alpha Dream. But yeah, no, I do think I do agree. But this isn't the time to step out of their comfort zone, is what my argument would be, because this is the last batch of announcements, and thus the last batch of games we're getting for the Nintendo Switch console before it gets sunsetted into the background. When
that's true.
What Nintendo is officially referring to as the Nintendo Switch successor system is announced in like January.
I'm afraid of a fucking Wii U. I'm afraid of a Switch U.
I want a Wii U. I want the Wii U back. If they announce like we've made the Wii U 2, it's just the Wii U with like higher end hardware than the Switch. I'll buy it. But no, I genuinely want an unsuccessful Nintendo console. I want Nintendo to I think
Nintendo will do better.
Shit, we talked about this before. Yeah. We talked about this 2 episodes ago, or 2 episodes ago, about just like how like Nintendo makes their best games under their highest pressure, and their highest pressure is we're not selling 4 billion units, you know?
Yeah. But I think that's about it for today. We've talked a lot about Nintendo. We did a lot of rapid fires, and that was nice. We had a very heavy moment in the center. But
we didn't get to talk about TV shows we've been watching lately. We both have one. We'll talk about those next time.
Okay.
We'll save it for next time.
All right. It has been. We made it through, dude. We made it through. It's been
a long day, as talked about at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, by this point, we are at 23 hours or 30 hours for me being awake. Sorry, that's how bad it's getting. We're at 30 hours of me being awake. I should go to bed. Vox should also go to bed.
14.
But first,
13 and a half.
If you do like Vox Jed Fight About It, you can always watch it on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch it live on the premiere on YouTube, or you can watch it on YouTube later or Spotify later, or really whenever you want. You can find both of our socials in the description if you want to watch us on Twitch or really anywhere else. Vox puts out a lot of really good YouTube videos that you should check out. And yeah, we don't have a guest here.
So they got nothing to plug. Good outro.
Fuck you. See you later.
Bye-bye.
See you around.
Bye.